Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Machakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's what teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. And I pray this lesson is edifying to the elect. And I wanted to do a lesson on this article that you see here on the screen. This is from naturalnews.com, and the title of the article reads, it says, Trump demanding Nato members spend 5% of GDP on defense. May impose tariffs on allies that do not pay up. Okay, let's read that again. Trump demanding Nato members spend 5% of GDP on defense. Which, when you go into the main spending, for Babylon, all right, they spend a mass majority of their funds on the military-industrial complex. You know, they spend a lot of their money on defense. Okay, because America typically, you know, is at the offense on a mass majority of the wars that they're in, and it's been like that. It's been like that since the conception of America. Okay, I want to say that one out of every 20. Let me actually pull that up real quick. I want to get the exact number. How many years has America? Let's say.
And this varies by the way too. Okay, but it says the United States has been at war for about 225 out of 243 years since 776, which is more than 92% of the time. This means that the U.S. has only been at peace for less than 20 years total. Okay? So America is always at war, and America's always on the offensive. And it doesn't even add into the fact, however say, it doesn't even add into the fact of the different proxy wars that they're a part of, you know, amongst these different smaller nations and things of that nature. And that lines up with the scriptures here. Alright, 225 years out of 243, America has been at war. And that lines up with the scripture here. I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna get back to the article. This is Psalm 140. Where's the Psalm 130? I might be Psalm 140. Let's see. Yep. This is Psalm 140. We'll start at verse 1. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Okay, what's one of the main mischiefs that they wanted to, what's one of the main mischiefs that they imagine in their heart? Alright, is mass micro-C-hipping everybody. And you clearly see them setting the stage for the Great Deception. Alright, they're setting the stage, but confusion when it comes to regards to these drones, you know, and various different other things, man, you know, but it's really the Lord gathering them together for the grand showdown, which is World War III. It says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, continually are they gathered together for war. Okay, and that's why they spend the vast majority of their funds on their blessing, which is the sword. That's what Esau was blessed with. That's what Isaac blessed Esau with. Okay? Esau was blessed with having the fatness of the earth, and he will rule it by the sword.
So like I had received a phone call. You know, I forgot the point I was making. You know, Satan's trying to throw me off, but I was saying, pretty much whenever you see them spending a mass majority of their funds on defense, you know, it really should be called the Department of Offense. You know, because that's what Esau does. You know, Esau's at the offensive of all the major wars that they're a part of. Okay. So going back to this article here, because when I seen this article, it immediately made me think about Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, but it says Trump demanding NATO members spend 5% of GDP on defense, may impose tariffs on allies that do not pay up. Okay, and how could a tariff or an embargo be the MOTB, which is once what Bishop Nathaniel taught? But anyways, that doesn't make any sense. Here it is, America gonna put tariffs on a nation so that they won't be able to trade. But the MOTB is trade, but it's an embargo. Anyways, man, them dudes is through. But anyways, it says President-elect Donald Trump wants NATO members to increase their defense spending to at least 5% of GDP. Now, the reason as to why this is important to biblical prophecy is because NATO is this beast. All right, you have NATO and the EU. All right, NATO, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and EU, which is the European Union, which pretty much consists of this whole beast system as we know it today. All right, that America, which is the whore that rides upon the beast, controls. Okay, it says NATO allies are already in agreement about increasing defense spending to at least 3% of GDP by 2025, and may be willing to increase that goal to 3.5% to 3.5% of GDP. So they was already in agreement of increasing it, you know, but they're being pushed to increase it even more. Okay, and this could cause pretty much friction between these particular different NATO allies, man. You see, this could cause the 10 horns to hate the whore, which is written about in Revelation 17, which I'm going to grab real quick. I'm just parking my car, so just give me 1 second. All right, let's grab that real quick, because according to prophecy, NATO and its allies, all right, America's allies, I rather say, is going to turn on this system eventually. All right, this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. It says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." That's why America is known as the great melting pot. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," which that whore is talking about America. The 10 horns is specifically speaking about NATO, or excuse me, the EU. But NATO and the EU pretty much are together, right? These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You see, so eventually Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has it set up to whereas these nations that are in league with America and in ties with America are eventually going to turn on America. You see? And this is that little horn whose looks are going to be more stout than his fellows, man. You see, NATO. Donald Trump is already talking about pulling America out of NATO. He's pretty much saying that he won't bat he won't bat an eye at pulling America out of NATO. And what would that do? That would just make America isolated. Okay? It says European allies have expressed concerns regarding the fiscal challenges of meeting higher defense spending targets, because these particular different nations like Great Britain, France, you know, Ireland, you know, these particular nations, man, they're hurting. Okay? So them having to spend more money and being told to spend more money by the whore, okay, is going to cause friction. Trump could impose targeted tariffs on NATO allies that are not working towards meeting defense spending goals, man. You see that? And I got to get it. I quoted it, but I got to get it. Let's get Daniel, the 7th chapter, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Daniel 7:25, I believe it is. Salaki, hold on. I guess I might have to just type in the word stout and see. Yep. I feel like I'm right there. I'm just not seeing it. Daniel 7:20. Okay, I was started a little bit too low. This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 19. It says, "Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast," which that fourth beast is the Roman Empire. All right, which was diverse from all the others, which the way that the Roman Empire was diverse from all the others was the fact that it wasn't set up as a monarchy. All right, it was pretty much set up as a democracy with elected officials. All right, every kingdom before was set up with a king, and then his son would reign, and his son's son would reign, so on and so forth. Okay, but the Roman Empire was not so. And you read that, I want to say that's in 1 Maccabees, the 8th chapter, where they set up the Senate house. It says, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, which the teeth of iron represents its military, and his nails of brass. It says, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Pretty much the Roman Empire subdued and made these nations subject and had these nations as vassals unto them. It says, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, which you had the ancient 10 horns, you had the Saxons, the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, the Suevi, the Heruli, I said the Saxons already, you know, and the various different 10 horns, which are now today comprised of different EU nations, right? And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, who's the other that came up? That's America. And before whom 3 fell, which was the French, the Spanish, and the British, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, which the very great things that are being spoken of are really coming from America, man. Okay, the blasphemies and things of that nature. Remember, Babylon had been the golden cup of the Lord's hand, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And that word stout goes back to being arrogant. So we know, according to biblical prophecy, that this is speaking about America. Okay, and you see, and this is a stout move by America. Okay, that's why the scripture says in the book of Obadiah, it says, they that have eaten thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. Okay? The incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump has signaled a shift in its foreign policy approach toward Europe and Ukraine, emphasizing the need for NATO member states to increase their defense spending while maintaining military aid to Kiev. This marks a departure from Trump's previous statements on the campaign trail. You see, yeah, he's a double-minded man. Is unstable in all his ways, man. Because he wasn't saying the same thing during his campaign. He was saying something completely different. Okay? It says, which included threats to cut aid to Ukraine and withdraw American troops for NATO allies that failed to meet defense spending targets. See, so now he's saying another thing. Now he's saying that he's not gonna withdraw NATO troops. He's gonna keep them there, and that they need to increase their spending. Okay. According to sources familiar with discussions between Trump's foreign policy aides and senior European officials, the president-elect intends to demand that NATO member states raise their defense spending to 5% of GDP. However, some officials suggest that Trump may settle for a target of 3.5%, explicitly linking higher defense spending to more favorable trading terms with the United States. The incoming Trump administration may be willing to impose tariffs on NATO allies that are not working towards meeting either goal. Okay? Now, what is a tariff? I know a tariff is a tax on imported goods, but let's just see All right, what it says here, tariff. It says a tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports or exports. So anything that's being imported in, all right, to America from that nation, there's going to be a tax on it. And anything that's being exported out of America and being imported in from these various different nations are going to have a tax on it. Which is pretty much a tariff is pretty much, you know, a tariff pretty much is pretty much a slap on the wrist to get you in line. Okay? Like just like a sanction. A sanction is pretty much made to cut you off from being able to even trade. Which is pretty much a slap. That's more like a punch in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like a warning shot. Like, don't fuck with me or else I can block you off. But it's a tax, and whenever a nation pays a tax, that means that you're subject. Okay. This demand comes as NATO allies are already considering increasing their spending target to 3% at the alliance's June 2025 summit in the Hague. I'm saying that correctly. The U.S. currently plans to spend approximately 3.1% of GDP on defense in 2024, a figure that aligns with Trump's proposed target. During his previous presidency, Pentagon spending peaked at 3.4% of GDP in 2020. European allies, including France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, and Poland, have expressed concerns about the fiscal challenges associated with meeting higher defense spending targets. And this is all at the behest of America. Okay, which is, like I said earlier, it's going to cause friction. Okay, this is going to cause friction. It's going to cause these particular European nations to be mad. Okay, Trump now open to providing Ukraine with limited military aid. All right, and I'm not going to read all this, you know, but the reason as to why this lesson is going out is because this is definitely prophecy. Okay, this is prophecy that's aligned up in Revelation 17, Obadiah 1, all right, Daniel 7. All right, to whereas America eventually is going to pretty much burn its bridges with its allies, man, which is going to cause America to be completely isolated. So when these missiles get shot, they're not going to have any defense. The only defense that America is going to have is going to be the so-called state of Israel. And in the so-called state of Israel's only ally is going to be America. So they're going to be two isolated nations, which is why this place in Israel is going to be completely burnt. Okay, Israel is going to be eventually built back up because that's our land, but America is going to be a desolate wilderness. All right, so I wanted to do a quick lesson on this, and I pray it was edifying to the elect. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that's what teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.